There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, what's happening? This is Chuck Billy right here with John Marshall right here on BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. This week we welcome Chuck Billy, vocalist of Testament, legendary Bay Area thrash metal giants. Testament has released their 13th studio album, Titans of Creation, via Nuclear Blast. And we're going to be talking to Chuck about that, and plus his diagnosis of the coronavirus, especially his wife as well, and plus crew members and other members of the band, and plus other folks that were on tour with them during all this. So we'll be talking to him about all that. Folks, I just want to tell you, please stay in. Only get out if you have to. We need to stop this coronavirus so that way we can get back to our normal lives and get back to what we do best, and that's enjoy life, play music, stuff like that. If you have a video game system, please rock it out. I know a lot of bands are doing these live stream shows. Some of them's pretty good. I've seen some pretty good ones, and everybody's just doing their thing to contribute, and I think this is pretty cool of how we are coming together and not letting this stop us. So I just want to make a note of this in case I sound weird or a little bit crisper, a little bit clearer or whatever. I'm actually using a new mixer. It is the Zoom L8, the Zoom Live Track 8. That's what I'm using right now because the other mixer, it just pretty much crapped out. So, but I honestly think I found the fix on that. I'm going to be testing that out also. So I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on, and I hope you guys continue to support BODS Mayhem Hour, support what we do, because I do this for you guys and gals that are out there, and thank you once again for supporting the show. Now we're going to get into some releases that's current right now for April the 10th and upcoming for April 17th. I hope I pronounced these right. If I don't, I'm sorry. So whatever. It's just one of them things. I apologize. Arion, a new album, Electric Castle Live and Other Tales, DVD, CD, box set kind of deal, is out now on Music Theories. As You Saw, Loop of Yesterdays, that's out on Solid State. Benighted, Obscene, Repressed, Seasons of Mist Records. Caligram, The Eye is the First Circle, that's on Prosthetic. Eat the Day, the demos, they did that themselves. Gatheist, How Long Have I Been on Fire, that's out on Hex. Joe Satriani, Shape Shifting, Legacy Records. Kingsman, Revenge, Forgiveness, Recovery, that's out on Sharp Tone Records. Cool Keith and Thetan, Space Gore-Tex, that's on Anti-Corporate. Metal Church, The Mighty Metal Church from the Vault, is out on Rat Pack. Nightwish, Human 2, Nature, that's out on Nuclear Blast. Sparta, Trust the River, Dine Alone. Now, I like Sparta. Sparta is an awesome, awesome band. So is Metal Church, so is Nightwish. A lot of these bands on here as well, so check these all out. The Strokes, The New Abnormal, which is out on Cult Records, RCA Records. Witch Taint, Sons of Midwestern Darkness, that's out on TP Records. Wolfheart, really, really good band, and I need to make up that interview very shortly with Wolfheart, which hopefully I can, but I had all kinds of stuff going on with this stupid mixer, and I've got all that fixed now, so we shall see. Wolves of Corellia, out on Napalm Records. And then coming up here on March 17th, new releases are going to be by Aborted, La Grande Massacre EP, that's out on Century Media Records. Abysmal Dawn, Phylogenus, Season of Mist Records. The Black Dahlia Murder, Verminous, that's out on Metal Blade. And The Ditch and the Delta, Prosthetic, self-titled album. Enter Shakira, Nothing is True and Everything is Possible. Jerobi, Illusory, Consoling Sounds. Chemist, a Doomed Heavy Metal EP. That's out on Nuclear Blast. Myrith Live in Carthage. DVD, CD. That's out on Ear Music. Man, some of these names, I tell you, Aransi Pazuzu, whatever. Mestrian Kinsey, Nuclear Blast. So, those are the new albums that are dropping. Get out and check all these albums out, folks. I'm sure you'll dig them. I know you guys will dig them, especially Sparta. I'm anxious to listen to some new Sparta, for sure. And coming up here on BODS Mayhem Hour is Mr. Chuck Billy, vocalist of Testament. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to get off here and let you guys and gals enjoy this interview. Once again, I thank each of you guys and gals who support the show again. I tremendously do. And I just, like I said, I do this for each and every one of you all. And I hope that I can get back on here and start doing some interviews. But, you know, hey, I got some things that's going on with this stupid mixer, and I'm trying to figure it all out. So thanks, guys and gals. Y'all have a good day. And thank you once again. Here comes the interview with Chuck Billy, vocalist of Testament. Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father. As always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's a huge honor and privilege to welcome back Mr. Chuck Billy, vocalist of Testament. Legendary Bay Area thrash metal giants Testament has released their 13th studio album, Titans of Creation, via Nuclear Blast Records. It's out today, Friday, April 3rd. And 13 albums, man, that's crazy to even think about right now. But Testament has released their first animated video for the song Children of the Next Level, with the song being about Heaven's Gate, the cult. So I know everybody remembers all that stuff going on back in the day. At least I did when I was in grade school, which was really scary. So, man, as we talked just a little bit before we got on the show, how you doing, and welcome back on the show, man?
We're doing good. You know, we had a little slow down with the illness once we got back from the Bay Strikes Back tour in Europe. Group of us, a handful of us in the band and crew got sick, and you know, just kind of did the right thing, got quarantined, got tested, you know, test came back positive, so we're just kind of been riding it out, feeling a little bit better every day.
Hopefully, man, you get back to normalcy after all this shit's over with, and I hope it don't last long, but evidently it's going to for some time, it looks like. But let's jump into this, man. For you guys, this is your 13th studio album, Titans of Creation. In times that we are living in where everything changes, did you guys ever think Testament would see the day of releasing the 13th album?
Well, especially not when the world's standing still.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like, you know, it's such an odd time to be releasing a record. There's so much going on in people's personal lives and in the world. But on the other hand, there's people that are sitting at home stuck listening to their music and hopefully having something new to listen to and you know, get on is kind of cool too.
But you got to look at it this way, and this is the way I look at it. I love music, and so do you, and so does everybody else out there. But this is like therapy for all of us, man, to be honest with you, with releasing new albums and getting back into old music and habits like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it does hold on all the touring end of it. I mean, we have the record coming out. We just did a great tour in Europe, Exodus, Death Angel, The Bay Strikes Back. And we're about to get into a new American tour and promote the record. You know, of course, that's all going to take hold now. And kind of just waiting to see how Europe's going to pan out, you know. And everything's kind of, you know, on hold until we figure out what's going on and we get a grip on this, you know, virus.
What's impressed or excited you the most about making the new album, Titans of Creation, if anything, Chuck? What have you saw about it that impressed you or excited you about it the most?
Well, I'd say the biggest part of this new record is the process of writing and making the record. A lot of the feeling of the record, Eric gave me a bunch of different music that had different feelings and flavors. So it really made it more interesting to where it wasn't going to be like the same pace, same feel, same, you know, all the stories have their own identity and story. That, you know, it's definitely also, you know, I didn't challenge Eric on a lot of the riffs. Usually when we write, we're working, we kind of, you know, I kind of change stuff up and want to sing over different riffs. And this time I really didn't do that. And he had some really different, unusual chord progressions. And it was actually more of a challenging process for me vocally, got me out of my comfort zone a little bit and made me get, I think, a little more creative in the studio working on it, because it was just, I had a different flavor and feel, but I think in the end of the day, it made for a pretty dynamic record in the songwriting. When I hear the record, it's enjoyable for me to listen to.
Yeah, but do you like that challenge or that push to get out of your comfort zone, though? Do you like that?
Well, I mean, I didn't think I would, but I didn't like, nobody likes to get there if you don't have to.
Yeah, yeah.
This time, because of the way we wrote the last record, and it took 2 years, and the process was just, it wasn't the fun process. I think going into this one, I didn't want to slow things down. I didn't want to stumble. So I think maybe I just wanted to just give me music, let's just go.
Yeah.
And because of that, maybe I didn't get as picky with the riffs, and I just worked with what Eric gave me, and it just made it more challenging in that sense.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on the album? I know these are your babies and everything, but I know it must change every time as well. But do you have any that stick out just for you, possibly?
Well, I mean, there is a bunch. I like them all, but I would say probably Children of the Next Level. I think just, there's a reason why it's the first track on the record. We started playing it live at the end of the tour last month, and it felt really good live. But it was one of them songs to me that it was the first song we wrote for this record. It could have been really off the Brotherhood, just the topic matter and everything. But it was just one of the ones that came together quick, and it felt really good live. So that when you have that working for you, it stands out.
Was it hard to choose between the current set of songs? Which one would be the first single you guys wanted to release for the album? Or was it hands down Night of the Witch?
I mean, it always gets hard because it is personal and everybody has a different choice, but Night of the Witch seemed to have a different vibe for Testament. It wasn't just thrash, it was very heavy, but it had a different element, having Eric sing in the choruses, which added a different component to Testament, and it's just something about that song and riff. And the second single would have been different, and the second one, Children of the Next Level, we almost made that third, but we're like, sat back and said, well, shit, that almost should have been the first single, but that's okay. At least now if we'll put it out second, it'll come when the video's ready, and we'll do that. And I think it's working out.
Were there any songs that didn't make this album that may be down the line on another album or EP possibly from you guys?
No, we don't write like that, really. We write records with current riffs and music. We never write extra stuff and leave it laying around. I think just because when you revisit it, unless you rewrite it, it's going to have that same vibe of the record you already did.
Yourself and Eric Peterson produced the album while Juan Ortega of Trident Studios handled co-producing. Do you guys like the freedom of having control of making the album and recording the album when you want to? Do you like this?
Well, that's the beauty of having Nuclear Blast. They don't pressure you to get the record done. When you're ready, you're ready. And in that sense, the process and putting out records, it's very comfortable when you get to recording them and delivering them. Yeah, we've been fortunate in that sense that Nuclear Blast has been works with us. And I think with all their bands, it kind of give them that freedom, which is pretty cool.
And another thing, I'm not knocking anybody else out there who has record companies who give them a time frame, but you can tell when bands have that freedom. You can tell it's not rushed, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you put a lot of time in bands that are just trying to meet deadlines and schedules and put it out before it's really done. You have to live with it. I mean, that's, you have to down the line go back and go, man, if I only did this, or if we only just would have just waited, it'd have been like this. You don't ever want to do that.
I thought this was very, very cool from you guys. The animation music video for Children of the Next Level was done by, and I hope I pronounce his name correctly, Balaz Groff. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How was working with him? Was this something you guys first wanted to do with Children of the Next Level, or did it just happen all of a sudden?
Well, I really wanted to do an animated one, but it actually worked out this time because we were so busy. We were touring. The record came out, went on tour, and came home, and we didn't have much time off, so there wasn't really a window to shoot a video for the record before the release date. So we decided, let's do it animated. And I thought Children of the Next Level would make a very cool storyline about Heaven's Gate, and animated would probably be really cool. And it took about 4 months to make, so the process started a while ago. And working with a guy like that, I gave him the lyrics, gave him the song, and kind of talked to him on the phone about some visuals, what I envisioned. And then that's about all we gave him and let him run with it.
It's actually a really cool video, guys. If you haven't got to see it, it's out today. The new album's out today, so you want to get out and pick all this stuff up. So kudos to you guys on this animation, man. And I like to see some more stuff like this from other bands as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I think right now, especially, it's something fun. When you watch it, it's kind of fun. You put a smile on your face.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If it don't, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And it's something new from you guys, That's cool. That's what I like.
Yeah, it's something different. We have never done that and thought it would be neat to have one.
Yeah.
And have
for sure.
like that.
You teamed up again with Illyrian Cantor, once again to create a masterpiece of artwork for the cover album. How was work with him again, and what led you guys to go back with him on this?
Well, we've been working with him for quite a while now, and he works with us doing our backdrops and some T-shirt designs. So he's very involved when it comes to artwork for us. So when we started this process, it was just pencil sketches of three guys swinging hammers. And, really didn't see it. I didn't envision what he was going to have the final product look like. But once we got the final product, after we tweaked it a little bit, it really came to life and really looked strong and positive and had a lot of energy. We didn't have a title name for it, though. We had just the album artwork before the album title was finished.
Do you see this band still musically growing from album to album after all these years, especially with this one? Do you think the Testament fans are going to be a little shocked on what's this one a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, I think at this point, especially the last 5 records, they've all been a little bit different, but I think they still are Testament, but they still just they're still different from each other. I don't know. I think as a music fan of bands, as long as the band represents who they are and what you like about them, I think it's okay to do different things and give different feels, as long as it still represents who the band is. I kind of like that, It's because, I mean, nothing against, bands who sold millions of records like AC/DC, but when AC/DC is going to come out, you kind of know, what the riff is going to be, the pace of the song is going to be. You kind of know it's kind of like a formula.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I hate that some fans will say, this album was different, they sold out. I mean, my God, you can only create the same music for 14, 15 years, and eventually they're going to say, let's do something different a little bit. That doesn't mean they sold out. That just means they're growing, that happens.
Well, you got to be different. We have to be Testament. I mean, there's so many new bands out there that come out now, and there's some great bands, and they're heavy as shit. And you hear them go, man, they sound so heavy and so killer. But it's not like we can go, we want to be like that now. You can't just kind of shift and jump and be inspired by what's there. You kind of got to be who you are. And after 30 years, I think we've found our identity, especially from the Gathering movement up to the records we're doing now. I think we found kind of the Testament identity, and, it feels pretty good where we're at.
Yeah, and speaking of young bands, I love Code Orange. They are awesome. I love the heaviness of that band. If nobody's checked them out, everybody needs to. But they're so good. What do you hope, Chuck, everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of Testament's music in general? What do you hope they get from it?
Well, I mean, I think if they're a lover of music like this, I mean, and they're like a old school, like Metallica fan, I mean, they'll see the history, what we kind of grew up with and kind of came from and evolved to, For the ones who have not got to see you guys live as of yet, what can fans expect at a show from the Mighty Testament when they come to see you all live, once this all gets back out and we're able to do this? Well, we've been definitely reaching down into the vault and picking out some obscure songs on tour. We've changed up our set. we've been playing a lot of the same songs for a long time. And so they're definitely going to see some new songs, but a lot of the newer stuff. I mean, a lot of these stuff off the new records will probably be covering maybe 4 or 5 of the tracks, and quite a few probably off, Brotherhood. I mean, the last couple records we've done, the songs are just really have a good live feeling.
Are there any songs in the vault that's not been in a set list as of yet that you would like to incorporate possibly?
Well, we always give it a shot, but it just doesn't work out as the songs off the Demonic record. There's a few songs on there that we say, yeah, let's play it. That sounds good. And we listen to it. And when we get in the room to play it, it just is not as tight as we hoped.
Yeah.
So somehow we always move on to another song. So probably any songs off of the Demonic record.
Since almost everyone is in quarantine from the coronavirus, do you think concerts and festivals will have the same impact as far as sales, or do you think this may hurt in the long run after all this, or do you see a big boom in this possibly after all this?
Well, it's going to hurt in the immediate future, and as people get out, I guess they just got to follow is how well they contain this virus and get it under control and come up with stuff to prevent it. We hope we get to that point. But I think the smart thing to do also is just kind of still practice the social distancing and maybe keep it wearing a mask, just keep that practice going, as we move forward.
Yeah, I got an elderly mother, and it's hard to say, hey, look, you got to stay inside and take care of yourself, because that's like me turning into the adult and taking care of the kid. You know what I mean? It's so hard right now. And
I know.
God bless everybody that's out there going through this coronavirus deal. When you contracted the coronavirus, did you know at that time you had it? And did the symptoms hit you pretty hard or all at once?
No, they hit us at once. I mean, we were in Europe, and we kind of watched it unfold because we were on tour there, and things were talking. We had to cancel our Italian show, and then the last show in Germany got canceled. But we just kind of watch it escalate from, the country of Italy shutting down to them, wanting to shut shows down and soccer matches. And so we kind of watched it unfold, but we were thinking, man, at concerts, there's different people that fly in from all over the world to see shows, and you always meet fans outside from all over. You just don't know. We're putting ourselves right in it, a chance of getting this. We're very susceptible to being caught in it. And we weren't sick, and we got out and we got home, but I think within 24 hours of being home, everybody started getting sick. So we just don't know when we contracted it or when we actually started getting sick, but I just don't know, We do know that it hit quick, though. When it did, it just took you out, and we were down for, like I said, at least 10, 12 days.
It's a life changer, man, out of nowhere, for sure.
Out of nowhere, yeah.
Folks, get out and pick up Testament's 13th studio album, Titans of Creation, via Nuclear Blast Records. It's out today, April 3rd, during this interview with Chuck. Also, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, tour dates, all this stuff when we're able to get back out and do some touring and catch concerts. How can they do that, Chuck?
Well, if they go to testamentlegions.com, they'll get a bunch of stuff, or either on our Instagram or Twitter, any of that stuff. We keep everybody updated what's going on, announcements for future tours. Hopefully we can, things get back to normal and we can continue on by the end of the year, getting back on road and promote the new record. That's probably it really right now.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show again, sir?
Sure. Hey, what's happening? This is Chuck Billy right here with John Marshall right here on BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our new podcast link. Also has our YouTube link, which everything is going to go up on all these sites, and we're all over the place. iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcast, everywhere. Please get out and check out Testament. Support these guys. They've been around for a long time. Plus, folks, they are the thrash metal giants, and I'm telling you, they have paved the way, and they have a lot of respect for me. Chuck, I wish you and your wife and everybody the best of luck, and I pray for you guys that you guys get better and get over this and get back on the road soon, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Stick around, guys. We'll have some more stuff coming up.
All right. Bye now.
to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.